everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my channel and the craft/dining room. You have found yourself at a new installment of, well, it's kind of going to be called New Stamps Now What, but I want to try something a little different. Something new and then something old, now what? I want to take a new product and combine it with a much older product, something that I've had for a really long time, to see what I can come up with and create something new. Today's new product is pull-apart cling stamps. This is the first time I've ever used one, and I think the card's pretty cute, and you'll have to stick around to see what I'm using that is the old. So it's kind of like a something blue, something tomorrow. It'll all make sense. That project is coming up next. So today I want to work with a pull-apart cling stamp because I've never done that before. And this is called the Botanical Split Background. And the whole idea here is that this pulls apart, right? And so you can stamp it separately. And I kind of love that idea. So I'm going to do that today. And I've got 4 distress oxides that I think will look pretty nice together. 2 of these are of the newer ilk, right? I just got the Kitsch Flamingo in a big pad. I have, of course, the Speckled Egg. I'm going to do ink blending with the new blender foam domes, and I'm going to do a little emboss resist just using some clear embossing ink and some clear embossing powder. For my greeting today, I'm going to pull out a set that I have, and it's an oldie but goodie. It's Love You Like, and it's Love You, 2 different styles, and all kinds of cute, kind of cheeky sentiments, like love you like a good nap. Love you like pizza, love you like Netflix, love you like I love wine. You kind of get the idea. Love you like craft supplies. I think we can all relate to that. And I do have the dies that cut out the greetings as well as the standalone dies. And I'll link all of that below. So those are the basics. Let's get started with stamping. So the first thing I'm going to do here is get the insert foam pad out of my MISTI, right? And I don't want this full stamp. I am going to go ahead. I'm going all in. I'm breaking it apart. All right, going to get that part out because I don't want that. I'm going to get that part out. I want the center here. I think what I want it to do, I hadn't really thought this through yet. All right, we're going to just put it right here. Okay, I'm going to get these little pieces. Sorry guys, you're going over there for now, okay? And what I'm going to do is take a piece of cardstock. Now this cardstock is already trimmed down, and I might trim it down even further, but I kind of want it to be a little bit bleeding off each part. So look at here, you can see, and by bleed, I mean it goes all the way to the edge. So I'm gonna take some purple tape. This is just a way I like to use cling stamps. I like to put them in the MISTI, and then I like to press down into the stamp rather than press the stamp down into the paper. But what I'm going to do here is go ahead and pick this up with the MISTI door. Right? Ooh, the MISTI door is a little dirty. Okay, and I'm going to press that down so it stays nicely. And then I'm going to grab my embossing magic. Right, just go all over like that. Rub that powder down. And now I'm going to ink up my cling with the Simon Clear embossing ink. And I'm going to get a really good coating on this because I don't want to stamp this multiple times. I might. It depends. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. But right now, I think my pad might be getting a little dry. You can see my table wiggling when I press. That is because I work on a antique table, and before you think antique is all neat, this thing is super old and it barely it just can't support the weight of anything. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. I'm going to bring this down, and then I'm going to take my Debbie tool. This is just the tool that I use that allows me to get great pressure and press on the MISTI door in a way that does not hurt my wrists, and I will have this linked below. It's kind of a cool design, right? It's a doorknob on a wooden block. And I know a lot of people are making these, and this lovely woman, Debbie, from Stamper's Secret, sent this to me. All right, I'm gonna keep pressing here. Just want to make sure it's a great impression, and that's why I'm showing you how long I do this, because I don't know. Am I going to do this again? You know, I can you see the impression there? It's kind of hard to pick up. I think I'm going to stamp it one more time, because nothing's moving, right? This is perfectly in place, so we'll just stamp it again, because I really just want to have a nice coating of ink. All right, let's get you up here. I'll do a better cleanup later, but I'm just wiping this off with my stamp chamois. Unstick it, take those off because I don't need that tape, but probably set it aside for later. And I have a beautiful impression just going across the card. Grab that, and you can see that, right? The beautiful impression that made. And I'm going to take my clear embossing powder and just sprinkle this on. I used to do Emboss Resist more often with white, but since I discovered this Simon embossing powder in clear, I've kind of been going this route, because if you're using a nice bright white cardstock like Neenah Solar White Classic Crest, it's really nice because it just kind of preserves, right, that white that's underneath. Now you can see that pattern. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I love it. And of course, we'll get another good coating on here. Tap, tap, and that is ready for heat embossing. I'm just going to funnel this back in carefully, like that. I always spill a little when I funnel, especially when it's very full like this, but it's no big deal because it's very, oh, there it went flying. It's very easy just to clean this up. Now I'll give a little blow on this, just to get any errant pieces of powder, and I will grab my heat tool. And now let's get a little bit more. Sometimes it takes a while to get all of it melted, but now what you'll see is the shine. See that? It's there. Oh, looks like we missed a little. Let's get that too. Yeah. It's a great way to double check when you have a lot going on. Is it shiny everywhere? And if it is, you are good to go. So all I'm going to do here is a little bit of Emboss Resist, right? Super simple, but it's the first time I've done it with these blender foams, and kind of loving these. I have now officially a set of foams just for oxides, right? Because, you know, our oxides have a different consistency, right? It's not going to be the same. And so this way I can have foams just for the Distress Oxides. And you can already see that nice little bit of resist that comes through. And here's the thing about the Kitsch Flamingo. Like when you see this, it's not as bold and bright as you think it's going to be, right? This is a really, really cool color, but look at that nice, the ink comes off, and look at how pretty that is, right? It resists, and the white cardstock stands out underneath. So the next color, which is the dried Marigold, this is kind of serving as my orange in the rainbow, a little bit orange and a little bit yellow. I love this color. I just did a video with these two colors, so I'm kind of on a Kitsch Flamingo dried Marigold kick right now, so that would explain why I'm doing this. But there are just times, I think, with these pull-apart stamps where, again, I'm not doing anything here that you couldn't figure out how to do, but I love being able to take an organic section of the design, right, and use that. Oh, that is so cute, right? I'm going to work a little over the transition area. And I'm going to cut this down a little too, so it's not going to be quite this big, but isn't that pretty? Load up with my Twisted Citron Oxide here. Just kind of twist it in, no pun intended, or maybe pun intended, I don't know. Just kind of come in off the side and blend. Oh, that color is just to die for. Look at that. Seriously. If I could, I would have my whole world be somehow painted, well, okay, not painted in Twisted Citron, because I think that it'd be hard to sleep. But isn't that just beautiful? Look at that, so soft. And then, just gonna go back over the Marigold. Now you know, or if you don't know, the oxides tend to dry back much softer, right? They're a much softer look. And so if you want to pump them up a little, you know, don't be shy. Go back over some of the areas because I'm going to come in here at the bottom with Speckled Egg. Now this is a newer release from Tim Holtz and Ranger. I haven't really used this color on anything, so this is a first. And I just thought this will be my blue. And this color itself is definitely going to tone down, I think, the whole look of this panel. So before I blend though, I'm going to take a piece of this Post-it tape just so I can, you know, put something down and not get fingerprints, because the oxides, they'll definitely show fingerprints. So let's bring in this at the bottom. And you might not think this is the perfect combo to end this with, but I'm gonna argue that it is, because it's just such a soft, cool blue color. And then I'll really work on the transition area here and go back over this as well with the Twisted Citron. But isn't that pretty? Can't wait until it dries too. Oh, I got a little up there where it not want to be, and that's fine. We'll just go over here. Again, transition areas are so important because when they overlap, right, you get a whole different look. So let's go like this and buff off all that extra ink. Oh my, I almost wonder too if I should spatter a little water on this, because I think this is really cute. All right, coming back in here with the Speckled Egg. And again, just lightly over that transition area. And that is my panel. So I'm just going to take my distress, well, do I want to just do it in my hands? Maybe put a little water in my hands and then go boop, 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 boop. So you can boop for sequins. You can boop for putting on little splotches of water. Let's see what happens. Love that reaction, right, that you get. And it's just going to add a little bit of texture in the background. I think I'll do boop, boop, boop. Just a few more here. And I am going to let that dry completely, right, because this paper is going to need to dry. And you'll see once it dries too, you get that little bit of lift. So we'll let this dry. And next we will move on to working on our greeting. So I've got my two love yous. I don't know if I want to do this one or this one. I feel like I don't give this one enough love. So you know what? But I love how this one has the little Y that you can nestle your little greeting under. And I'm going to do this on a light gray. Well, you know what? How about we do this? Who says you have to commit to one or the other? We're going to do two. Yeah, you see that? Do you ever do that? You just don't know what you want to do, so you just do them both. Now, this one, however, is going to need white powder because it's going to have a nice, very subtle look, right? To have the pale or the gray fog cardstock with a little bit of white embossing. I love that look. So I'm going to go ahead and powder this up, my sticky clear embossing ink. Bring that down and press. I might hit that again just to get as much ink coverage as, oh yeah, I definitely need more because I can see on that one. I love stamping on cardstock because you can see more of like, did I get enough ink down there? And when it looks a little splotchy, you know, you can kind of say to yourself, the point of the MISTI is to be able to do exactly what I'm doing here, right? Stamp exactly in the same position. So that's what we're going to do. Heck, sometimes you can go 3 times, but I think that's going to be good enough. All right. So the thing that's nice about having 2 greetings, if you can't make up your mind, is that, you know, you'll pick one. One's going to be the prom queen. One's going to be the runner-up, right? But that one, never underestimate the runner-up at the prom, because that runner-up, that could turn out to be beautiful as well. So there you go. Okay, I'm going to let that set for a second and tap off the excess. And there you go. 2 greetings And now I'm going to cut them apart to, well, you know, no, I'm not going to cut them apart. Sometimes I make templates to frame these out of copy paper, and sometimes I decide to roll the dice. So let's roll the dice and see how well I have these lined up. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out off camera using my Gemini Junior, and I'll be right back. All right, let's pop it out and see how well I did. Sometimes oh, I did good. Oh, I framed that out really well. Okay, this is, oh, look at that. Isn't that sweet? Love you. It's very light, right? It doesn't have a ton of contrast. That's kind of what I wanted because I feel like this is all very soft, right? And I don't want this to have a ton of contrast. So let's grab my panel dies because I want to trim this down. So I'm going to grab my A2 layers dies. I have both sets, the original set and then the expander set. So you basically can cut almost every size known to man. And the more I look at this, even though I love this, because I haven't really done much with this greeting, I kind of want to do that, but I think I want to go smaller. And that's what I love about this die set, is that it basically allows you to kind of visualize. It's almost like having a cropping tool, right? Because I think this is actually cool to have, you know, just a little bit of that speckled egg coming through, right? And then, you know, I might do love you down here. I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to go ahead, tape this into place. But yeah, these dies give me this great way of trimming out panels, cropping what I've already, you know, stamped and ink blended. And then I know they're going to be cut perfectly for a US A2 card base, which is, you know, the standard that I usually do, which is 4 1/4 wide by 5 1/2 tall. So I'm going to cut this panel out and we'll move on to the next step. So let's score our card base, right? This will be up here, 5 1/2. Like that. Get my other die here, 2. Give that a nice press down, like that. All right, I've got foam tape on the back here, and now look at that glorious framing margin space. Isn't that pretty? Now, I need to grab some thin foam squares so I can pop up my greeting. So as I look at this card, I love the cleanness of this, that I think I'm going to stamp a greeting on the inside. I think that's just going to be prettier somehow. And if I use a fun greeting on the inside like craft supplies or like a tax refund, I think the front sort of belies the cheeky humor that will be inside. So I am going to take the backers off of here, visualize all 4 sides, and press. I love that margin. Isn't that pretty? And now I'm just going to pop this up. I'm actually going to bring in my clear T-square here to make sure that I get the U straight and align this up right about there. Oh, isn't that cute? So cute. All right, so that's the outside. And now we'll stamp a greeting on the inside. So to finish this card, I grabbed an ink here. This is Simon Says Stamp Melon. And I actually am just going to keep this kind of sweet. I could do something cheeky here, but I think I'm going to do so much. I have a person in mind that I can send this to, but here's a fun thing that you may or may not know about the MISTI. I can take my card that's already done, right? I can open it like that, put down my magnet, get this lined up perfectly. Now granted, this is something you could totally free range stamp, which is what I call stamping with a block. But all I'm going to do is pick up the stamp with my MISTI, and the cool thing is it's not going to hurt the front of the card at all. Again, brilliant design. And that way I'm going to get a perfect impression on the inside, because I'm not that good with little greetings. I don't know why, but I feel like every time I try to stamp these freehand or free range, it does not turn out. It doesn't turn out good. So here I'm just going to go like this, press, 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 and I have a perfect little so much. Isn't that cute? So I thought the orange, the melon would be cute because the center of this card is that marigold. So it has a nice little visual connection. All right, I want to show you one more thing. Someone asked me recently if I had stamps that I used for the back of my cards, and the answer is yes. I've just never shown this in a video. I have a few. This is just my regular business logo that I had done back in like 2014 when I did a logo redesign. This was created for me by my friend Jennifer McGuire, and this was created by Bossy Jossie, and she's an awesome handmade stamp company, so I will link her below for something like this, because she also made this for me. And this is the one that I use probably more than any other. I had this designed and just sent the artwork to her and she created it. So what I do here, this is actually kind of the edge of my table. So I will put my card, let's see if I can show you here, put my card on the edge of my table. It's hanging off right now. And I just take my ink, all right, ink it up. And I'll usually pick a similar ink. I don't stress out about this too much, but then I press it right down in the center, free range stamp for the win. And now I have making cards with love since 2017. So I always stamp the back of them. I just never show it. Anyway, that is the finished card project. I thought about putting sequins on, but you know what? I like the simplicity of this, right? This beautiful pattern, the simple rainbow blend, the lovely wide margin, and a simple greeting on the inside, and of course, made with love on the back. Hope this inspires you to check out those pull-apart background clings. They're really fun, and I think there are a lot of creative things you can do with them. Thanks so much for watching today. I would love to have you become a subscriber to my YouTube channel. And if you do subscribe, be sure to hit the gray bell below the video so that you don't miss the next time I post. Here are a couple other videos that you might be interested in watching. Thanks so much and have a great day.